Good afternoon, everybody. There's a few comments and a few questions I've had concerning the group assignment, and I'd just like to spend a little bit of time on that, explaining in a little more detail exactly what it is that I'd like you to be doing this week through the group assignment. And before we get to that, I'd just like to make a few comments about your discussion forums and discussion posts from last week. So last week everybody read an article. We all read the same article, and I have to say, overwhelmingly, your discussions were spot on. What I was mostly drawn to are kind of the copy, the sections, the prompts that I asked you to fill in, copy those, put them into the discussion forums, and kept them very basic. There were some really excellent posts last week where the student actually connected it to the text, and I thought that was very valuable. I don't spend a lot of time with the week two actual paper at this point because we really dig into the details this week. Last week was just an example of everybody reading and then writing about it. And one thing I want to stress, if there's something that you just are not following or you don't understand, please reach out to me. But also in your post, I welcome somebody saying, I think that it's this approach or this is the framework, but I'm not exactly sure. I'm giving everybody the space that you need, especially with this group assignment, to discuss it internally, and later on I will chime in. But there's a couple of things that I just did want to get down into the nuts and the bolts with, and let's get right to it. So, as you know, everybody in the class is put into Group A, Group B, and Group C. Everybody's reading the same article, but everybody is assigned different aspects of it. And to give you an example, so in this one, we have Zach, we have Casey. Casey's in charge of the sampling, Maria, data collection, etc. And what I mean by that is, and I'm just going to shoot to another class so everybody gets an opportunity to at least see what this looks like from a 30,000 foot perspective, so to speak. So now I'm looking at another class, and this is the students' response to the theory and the literature review. And in here, they went to an awful lot of information. And then down here, this would be the first section, the research review of theory, conceptual framework, the framework for the study, blah, blah, blah. And I wanted to also show one more thing in here. So here's the checklist that I included. Now, there's been some questions. Do I have to answer every question in here? The short answer is no. First of all, if you are working on the data analysis section, all of a sudden, all of these other questions, prompts are valuable, but your focus is on the data analysis and the findings. And even in there, you don't have to dig into each one of these questions. This is meant to just spur some discussion on from you. One thing that you may see, you may not see, especially if you're in charge of the sampling section, there's nothing in here that says sample. And it's kind of embedded in a lot of these. But I will say for the 3 people that are in charge of the sampling is in certain ways maybe not as complicated as some of the other sections. And what I mean by that is, and I'll show you in the actual research article, that a lot of the research studies that you will be reading and you will have as part of maybe your 6 final research articles that you select, there will be a section that says sampling, but not all research has that particular title. So if you have the sampling, really what I'm just looking for is what was the sample. It's not the methodology, it's just what was the sample and what do the authors explain about it. So let me go back. I'm going to go back to the actual article. So here's some ideas. This is what the person wrote that took the lead in that section. Other people commented on it, etc. And then let me go back to the topic and I'll just show you. So in this case, Jenna did the theory and literature review. The purpose in the design was done by Chris. Sampling, Haley, data analysis and results. And each one of these people, so if you have this section where you're in charge of the sampling, you are going to come in and you're going to put sampling, however you want to do it, theory and literature review, but just say you have sampling. You might you're in charge of that. Just put sampling and then possibly even your name. So for group A, that would be Casey. Casey might put sampling / Casey. And then you're basically doing a post. You're not going to be graded on this. And so let me go to the article. In here, there's individual sections, and I'll take the research review of the theory conceptual framework. So in here is the literature review, introduction, literature review, and then theoretical framework. So your job, so in the first group A, it's Zach, your job is to read this section, maybe look at the checklist, but I'm really interested in down here, context for the study. You come down and it gets into some of the historical significance and the historical theoretical framework. Come down. You have to read this. This is where you really have to. So right down here, therefore, the theoretical framework used here allows. So what it's saying, it's not being perfectly clear. You need to go back. And read in here. And I'm really looking for your interpretation of just what is the conceptual framework. It could be the theoretical framework. Purpose in the sampling, context for the study, it's in there. The method, keep on coming down. I'm just coming down. Data analysis, as you can see, each one of these corresponds with an individual section of what everybody is assigned. So we have two people actually that are in charge of the data analysis with group number A. So let me just stop for a second and I will find exactly what I want to show folks. So you might be saying, boy, I have the sampling section, but there's nothing specific in here that says sampling. Not all research has that, and I'm glad I got a question on the sampling. So in here, the context of the study. First of all, it tells the aim of this study. Pretty straightforward. This course on the topic, blah, 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 we offered to 22 in-service teachers. So that's the sample right there. No, excuse me. Yes, that is the sample. And from there, keep on coming down. Most of the participants were women, 17 out of 22, and the age. So here's the age. The mean was 38. So this is the information that I'm really looking for, those that are in charge of the sampling. Yes, it's a little hidden, but this is fairly typical of research studies. Same thing. How did they collect the data? Once again, in here are the specifics. I do not want you to spend a lot of time on any one of these sections, but it's important that you do spend time on it and read the entire study because all of the information that I'm looking for is in here. Sometimes it's very clear, and usually in primary source research studies in the articles, it gives you the headings. So in this one, it is not. Part of the reason I included it was just I used this actual research article was to just get the type of questions I have gotten. The sample is in here. You just have to look for it. Data analysis, you can go through that and you can explain it in your own words. So that's it for me. I hope this helps, and I will have another video in the next couple of days on selecting a topic. But in the meantime, one thing that I'm not sure everybody knows at this point, but I wanted to make sure that you do actually see where it is. If you come in here, the interpreter review assignment, in the back here in this section, there's all things. Here's an exemplar, here's an exemplar, Gen Y exemplar. I'll click on that. And for those that are still struggling with what am I going to do, you can take a look at some of these exemplary papers that I put in here. This person's approach, they were really interested in understanding Generation Y's approach to learning. That was their topic. So each one of those exemplars has the topic embedded in the paper. So I encourage you to take a look at it. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'm here to help. I would prefer that everybody gets their initial post by Wednesday or Thursday, so there's opportunity for people to discuss, debate, critique, argue with your classmate that was in charge of that section. So in the meantime, if you have any questions, specific questions, please reach out to me. I'm here to help. And once again, I give you permission. If you struggle with the theoretical or conceptual framework, please take a stab at it. I think this is what it is, but I'm not sure. And I will chime in later on in the week. Okay, everybody. Good luck with that, and let me know if I can help in any way. See ya.